conversation with her yesterday, and the conversation we had was in regard to the newspaper article on open enrollment and the fallacy of open enrollment. That was in Sunday's paper, and that was written by Megan also. And the problem with the writers for the newspaper, unless they have somebody give them documented material, they're reluctant to be able to extrapolate the answer because that's not reporting. What we do on Inside Insight, just like the show says, well researched, thought out, and documented, and it's put out with some thought of how does this really fit together? What's the real crux of the matter here? So with that, it's St. Paul Schools in here was mentioned. They call it strong schools, strong communities. And they call it the SSSC. Well, what that really is, Soviet-style systemic control. And don't be fooled by their use of the misuse of the English language. But they're talking about White Bear and Matamidi here. White Bear Lake District understands the challenges of being on the losing end of open enrollment. It lost 764 students to other districts. And you have to remember they lost 1,400 students to charter schools, private schools, and homeschooling. About half the White Bear students who left for other districts go to neighboring Matamidi. So looking at Matamidi, I think Matamidi, 27% of their students come from outside the district. That their student body is, I'm doing this from memory, 3,200, 3,200, 3,500, somewhere in that range. But 27% are from out of the district. So what do you attribute the cost? The implication of the article is that that's financially beneficial. But remember, one of the school board members, Doug Wogamot, attorney, spokesperson for the school district on this building project, there was a letter written by him, and the essence of that letter was that the district shouldn't justify their inefficiencies and keep them going on the back of open enrollment. And so the district, when the district's own student population is decreasing, the age of citizens in Matamidi has gotten older, fewer children, so they're really down 30%, 25%. So what they're doing is, rather than allowing the district to contract, the district is holding the system afloat artificially by robbing students from surrounding districts. And they're doing that by propagating the idea that their district is educationally better. Now, I would challenge any district to say that their teachers are better than other teachers. The teachers in St. Paul schools are just as good or better than the teachers in Matamidi. But what makes students or parents have their students migrate to a different district? Well, look at the inner city. Look at a classroom with 5, 6, 7 disruptive, out-of-sort students whose parents are not engaged, could care less about their children, and they dump those into the classroom with your child that's there to get an education. And so the teachers are at a huge disadvantage, and they don't have the authority or the backing to deal with that. And so they're no longer teaching. They're now trying to do classroom management as the big part of their day. And so parents look at that and say, well, you know what? Let's move our kids out to a district that we perceive to not have this disciplinary problem, and which falsely has been said to have a better curriculum. Well, that's not true, of course. And one of the other reasons that parents move their children to a smaller district like Matamidi is for athletic reasons. $45 million bond referendum that passed, a big portion of that was new athletic fields. And part of that is now, well, we have a smaller district, it's easier to get on the athletic teams, so let's move our child to that district. So you have these other things that play into this perception for open enrollment. And, you know, there's that kind of critical mass where a district, the argument is, well, a district, and we do have a phone call, a district has to be of a certain size to self-perpetuate. I disagree with that. How about go back when school districts had a one-room schoolhouse? Did they self-perpetuate? Of course they did. So you have this fallacy that it actually financially is beneficial to a district to bring in all this open enrollment. Really what it does is it supports a system that should be contracting. And in the case of Matamidi, you can say that, you know, they had to build an $18 million new elementary school, which is on hold, by the way, because of this influx of 27% enrollment from outside the district. They had two schools, A.H. Anderson and Wildwood Elementary. And then, you know, these districts, when they want a new building and they want to build this monument campus to themselves, they take and they come up with the ideas. It's either asbestos or mold, or the building is settling. You know, the old building was built on a wetland, and so we're going to build the new one on a toxic waste dump and call that an improvement. And you actually go to the school, and the school isn't settling, it's the parking lot that's settling. So, you know, anything that can get the these levies, referendums passed, and now they're going to come back, they want a technology referendum. I can't believe the district citizens are going to cough up more money into a system. You know, they decided to suck the resources out of the district taxpayers and use it for buildings and athletic fields. And, you know, at some point the well runs dry, and you know, the way they passed that last levy referendum was strictly by the manipulative book, which we have available, that tells you how you get these things past the voters. And so I think people have, it's going to be a real hard sell to try to push another levy onto the citizens for more. All right, so what do we have here? Grant. Well, this is in the city of Grant, but it's the Wildwood School District, or the Matamidi School District, rather. New Wildwood Elementary won't be ready till fall of 2012. Well, the issue there is you have to remember that the runoff from the athletic fields, which is built on top of the old dump site that has all the chemicals and things buried below, and that seeps to the surface, and then that runs down into a holding pond, and then the design was to take the water back out of the holding pond and use it to irrigate the field. So all the bad chemicals are put back and back and back, and so the watershed, the Brown Creek Watershed District, is requiring the district to build a drainage ditch and possibly take other steps to make sure area water is protected. You know, it's protected from this runoff, but citizens or parents need to understand their kids, when they're out there playing football or soccer, are going to have their face buried in that stuff. And so, you know, we had the pictures on the show here of the sludge boiling up out of the little stream that was running through there, and they claim there's nothing out there. Well, you saw the pictures. Do you believe your eyes, or do you believe their hype? Okay, that's enough on Grant. Did we have a phone call? All right, let's take the call. Caller, are you with us? Question or comment?
Hi, Bob.
Good evening.
I have a question.
Sure.
I like your show. My wife and I, we watch it every week.
Thank you.
And for the last 3 weeks, your show and the show that precedes you, I think by Diane Longray, whatever she calls it, off the record news, the audio has been totally distorted, as it is again tonight.